Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel, and we continue. Yes, we continue the grind up the Polish Tank Destroyer line. Now we are on to the tier 6 SDB 44 Berza. Now we don't actually have this tank fully equipped yet. We haven't got the modules, so we're just going to look at the tank pretty much stock. So what we're actually going to do this tank, we are going to do something a little bit different, and it's something I always talk about when grinding up the lines. But let's just have a look at the stats when it comes to the stock gun to see if it is actually playable or not. So you can see here the speed on the tank is, well, let's just go to this, sorry. So armor 135 mil on your front. That's not bad, you know. If you come up against tier 5s, then you could actually get that armor profile to work and you will get some bounces. However, when you come up against tier 7, you're not going to bounce as much. Your DPM is 2,454, not too bad considering it's a stock gun. Your reload time is just 4.89 seconds. Your penetration 186 on your AP, 236 on your APCR, and 50 on your HE. You've got a 200 alpha gun, so for the reload, the alpha's not actually too bad. 170 on your APCR and 300 on your HE. Your aim time is 4 seconds, and your gun dispersion is 0.330. You do have a 6 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 32 kilometers per hour. So DPM wise, you know, that's not too bad. Then of course, the upper gun, the better gun, you can see you actually lose quite a bit of DPM. You lose dispersion, you lose aim time. However, you do gain a little bit, I mean only a little bit, of penetration, and of course you do gain the more alpha. So looking at it, some may actually say the stock gun is better. Yes, your penetration, you gain a little bit, but not much. And of course, you do have more alpha. However, overall, your DPM is dropping. So yes, you have more alpha, but your reload time is actually a little bit higher, so 7.51 seconds. So again, some people may think that the stock gun is more enjoyable, and that's up to you. You know, if you want to run it with a stock gun, again, penetration wise, you're going to pay 20 grand for the top gun and 8 penetration more with 11 on your APCR. To be fair, that's nothing. Like, that really is nothing. So yeah, like, just a word of advice, don't rush to get the top gun, because your standard gun is actually not too bad. So what we're actually going to do this tank, so I always say it, the easiest way to grind up a line is of course to use the special game mode. Special game mode is great. I don't really agree too much if you're a brand new player, because then you're not really learning how to play the tank. So if you are sort of you've had an account, you played for years, you just want to start a new account, you wasn't happy with your main stats because you were really bad, so I'm just going to set up a new account. So the one way to do that is of course to use these special game modes, and there's one reason for that. Is because they do not go towards your stats. It doesn't go towards your stats in any way. So it doesn't add your battle count, it doesn't go towards your average damage, it doesn't go towards your win rate. So I always say that, you know, it's always good to play special game modes to gain enough free XP, so you don't, or XP, sorry, on the tank, so you can play the tank stock. If the tank is absolutely shit playing its stock and you haven't got enough free XP, then just go play special game modes, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how bad your gun is, because it doesn't go towards your stats. So, you know, go play these special game modes to help you, because one, it will help your stats, because you're not playing, and then of course if you really wanted to, you could actually grind a whole line. If you want to work on your average damage in particular and not really worry about win rate, then of course you can just get tier 5, go play special game modes all the way up until tier 10, and then once you get the tier 10, you can then go play normal games. And then of course when you have a tier 10, overall you're going to do more damage in a tier 10 than you are a tier 5 anyway. So those that are just worried about average damage, then yeah, go go play the tank in special game mode. You don't actually need to play the tank to grind the tank. Stat wise, looking at your statistics, so if you look at my statistics, which again we will show, it'll look like you've actually never played the tank, but yet you've got a tier 10. So that's what I'm going to do with this game. This tank, it doesn't excite me as much, you know, stat wise. Yeah, the stats are actually not too bad, but I feel that for this tank, and potentially even, I'll probably play tier 7, but I'm definitely going to grind enough free XP, so when I do get the tier 7, I can just get the top gun, top tracks, everything like that straight away. So if I did want to go play a normal mode, then I can, and at least I know that the tank is fully upgraded to its max. So that's one word of advice. And again, I always say it in these free-to-play videos, like, even if you did want to play the tank in a normal mode, at least play the tank to get enough XP to get the top modules, because again, you don't want to play this with stock tracks or stock engine, because it's just going to feel sluggish. And again, most other tanks you don't want to play with a stock gun, because usually they are absolutely shit. However, this is an exception, because the stock gun is actually a pretty decent gun. And you know, some people don't really play special game modes. To be fair, as I said in my previous video, I never play them. So me playing the special game mode, gravitizing or whatever it's called, I'm actually enjoying it. Like, yes, you're not in a mega fun tank, but you're still having fun. You're still doing damage. And actually, when you can do this much damage regularly in a tier 6 tank, you grind XP very quickly. I mean, I can't remember how many battles I've had. I've literally had 2 or 3 battles in this tank, and I've already got 7,000 XP. Not free XP, just normal XP on the tank. And that's because, like I said, you're getting the XP needed, you're getting the damage, and yeah, you can build up that XP for the tank. Not free XP as such, but just XP on the tank. But again, if you're building up XP on the actual tank, you won't need free XP anyway, because you're only going to build free XP to use on that tank. So if you can build the normal XP, good, because you get to save your free XP for later on. So yeah, that is one word of advice. If you don't want to play the tank, then you don't have to. Of course, in a way you do, but not in a way that goes towards your stats. And you're going to see this basically for this tank. I'm going to play a special game mode for the entire of this tank. So I'm going to build, I mean, I don't need to unlock. And that's another thing, like, people forget about this. They're going to see, so I've got 7,000 XP. Let's get the tracks, or let's get the engine. Do you really want to? Unless you're going to play the tank regularly after you grinded up the tiers, you don't need them tracks. You know, all you need is the 20,000 gun, and then of course the 60,000. So you're actually saving yourself a bit of XP, because you don't need these tracks. Sometimes you do, because the tracks then go on to sort of maybe the next tier, and if you unlock them tracks, you get the next track. But for this tank in particular, you don't need them tracks. You don't need them engines. So save your free XP, save your XP, because you don't need them. Get them later on. You know, if you're going to play it regularly later on, then get them. But if you're literally just playing the tank to grind, don't be an idiot and waste XP on these modules. Just this module, and then of course the 60,000. So let me know, have you played the STB44? It feels okay, I'm not gonna lie, not really that exciting, but yeah, let's play the special game mode until we get to tier 7, and then we will play the tier 7 on normal game modes to see how that tank plays off in the battlefield. But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.